everyone. In just 1 second, I'm going to be introducing author Alison Ragsdale, and we're going to be talking about her newest book, A Life Unexpected. And I have the book right here because she gave them to me. I also have two of her older books, and I'm going to be giving all these books away this week on Sunday, and I am so happy. Look at that. So blessed. Thank you so much, Allison. And this book is so good. I can't wait to talk to her about it. So everyone, here is Allison. Hi everyone. Today I have with me author Alison Ragsdale, and I'm so excited because we're going to be talking about this brand new book, and it's A Life Unexpected, and I am so happy that I got this book. Thank you so much, Allison.
You're so welcome. So welcome.
What a story. Okay. I read a lot of thrillers, and I wouldn't consider this a thriller. This is just a nice fiction story about a mom and a daughter and a family, and I loved it. It was like such a break for me because I've been reading so many I don't know if you've noticed, like so many thrillers are coming out right now. You know, and I'm on the edge of my seat all the time, either with my phone or listening or something. And this one, I was just like, just a nice story, and I loved it. And when you're writing something like this, I always think about, like, how did you come up with this story? Because it was so good, and it had so many different things in it. And I was like, how do authors sit around and like, oh, I know it'll be a good story? I mean, does it just like pop into your brain?
Yeah, sometimes it comes to me when I'm asleep. I get a storyline that comes in a dream, and I wake up in the morning or even in the middle of the night and I'm madly writing notes because I don't want to forget things. But with this one, I had considered writing something about mother-daughter relationships, and then I was looking at how they vary and looking at all the different complexities and the way that relationship can change. And then I suddenly thought, well, it would be kind of intriguing if you took a woman who knew that she was adopted but hadn't really delved into her past until she was in her late 30s, and then she's thrown down this rabbit hole by a question from her own daughter. And then I just felt it was intriguing, the idea of that journey starting kind of later in life than many adopted children would ask those questions. For her, it was kind of a whirlwind that took her down a very unexpected path.
Yeah, and I love mother and daughter books because they're always, I don't know, I had such a difficult relationship with my mom. It was like good, and then we go through bad, and then we go through good. She passed away a couple of years ago, but and we were kind of in a bad, I'd say. We weren't a good in that. I don't know. It's just our relation. It's always complicated. I think that two women trying to figure it out, especially as you get older, and she gets married, and the kids. And my mom, as much as she loved my children, and I have 6 of them, and she was there a lot through that. But as I got older, like, she wasn't as interested in my children. Like, she always wanted me time. And she'd be in Florida and say, "Can you want to come visit?" And I'd be like, "Can I bring any children with me? Like, I can bring 2 or 3." And she was like, "Can you just come alone?" I'm like, "Do you want to see your grandchildren?" But for some reason, she really wanted to connect with me. And now I have 2 daughters. Do you have daughters? I was like, the whole time I'm reading, you don't have daughters? I don't know how you did it, because you did it so well. I mean,
well, I am a daughter, and I have sisters, and we're incredibly close to our mom too. And so I just took that relationship and I kind of morphed it into the storyline, and then added on things that I had not experienced necessarily, but have friends who have gone through adoption, have adopted children. And just the dynamics that creates within the relationship, how you get these incredibly close bonds with genetic parents, but then those bonds can be just as close with parents, adoptive parents, and then how those transitions take place from childhood to adulthood. And it's just so much. There's so much rich material in just everyday life. I just can't imagine ever running out of ideas.
No, I really. And then, I had 2 boys, and then when they told me I was having a girl, I was scared. I was like, oh no, I have to figure this out. Like, I don't know. It just scared me. And now I have 2 daughters. So, I just thought that you really got the relationship, because I could see myself and Eve, and then I could see myself in Jess, and then, like the going back, because I was a daughter, but then I'm the mom. So I love that. I love that I kept going back, and I would like see their one point, and I'm like, oh no, but she's right. Like she understands better. Cause as the daughter, and like you said, you're close to your mom. It's like, you start to think you know more. I thought I knew more than my mom. And now I see my daughters thinking that, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah, that's very common behavior. I think we all go through that where we think we know better, and then as you get older, you end up thinking, no, I have to admit it, mom knows best.
I have to admit it. I know. I know. Yeah. And even to this day, I say stuff my mom said, or they'll even call me on it. My daughters will call it. They're like, you sound just like grandma. I'm like, I'm sorry, it happens.
Yeah.
But I want to read to you my favorite quote, because I love quotes, and I love hearing about like how you came up with this quote. So it's a little long, but I don't care. I tried to shorten it, but I couldn't shorten it. So I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to read it. And, there's no spoilers. We don't give away any spoilers. This is near the beginning of the book. And it's from Eve's perspective. And she says, she leaned into the mirror and patted the fine lines that had recently become more visible under her gray eyes. Staring back at her was Jess's nose, the square jaw, and the high hairline. Those parts of her daughter she could at least lay claim to. And I love that because of her being adopted. So, she's being adopted. I mean, she realizes she's adopted. She's thinking about her adoption, but she's looking at her daughter and realizing she can see parts of her daughter in her. But she couldn't do that with her mom, and that's just my takeaway. I know everybody's going to take away something different, but my takeaway was like, oh, that was just so touching, because she's seeing, and I think we all do that. We try to look at our children and parents. You try to do both. And I saw my son in the grocery store the other day. He's older. He has kids, and he walked away, and I was thinking, I didn't see anything of him in me. Why does that thought, like, how did you got that so perfect? Because that is the thought, especially as they become adults. You kind of I want to be like, oh, he has my eyes. I see my eyes. Or I'll look at his little girls and say, oh, I see that, of him. Or I don't know. I loved it. So I want to hear how you came up with that, because it was perfect.
Well, thanks. I think that what I was trying to achieve there was the idea that, when Eve is looking at herself, she's obviously acknowledging the fact that she sees her daughter and she sees herself in her daughter, but she's also kind of acknowledging the fact that because of her genetic background and her birth parents, she can't tell whether there's parts of Jess that are not her, and because she doesn't know the birth parents, there's parts of her daughter that she may not actually recognize or be able to lay claim to. So the fact that she can see the hairline, the jaw, it's almost like a relief to her. It's like, well, that definitely, I know where that comes from. And I was just trying to achieve that kind of sense of the desire for ownership of her daughter, but also the acknowledgement that there's a background and a history that's fed into that she doesn't know about. So there was this kind of dilemma there with that.
I love that. Yeah, because I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking of, and that's true. Like, there were parts. Yeah, because I love that. That's really good. Now it's taking me to all kinds of other thoughts. And that's why this story was so rich. It had so many layers in it, and you're really good at developing the characters, so you really understand each character. And I think with stories like these, when it's just I call it women's fiction, and maybe just because Amazon does, but I'm not discounting men who read it, but it's kind of a woman's fiction book, and you have to be character driven to care about the story, and you did that so well with the story.
Oh, I'm glad. That's what I want to achieve. And I think when I first started writing, my greatest hope was that I would create characters that were relatable, but that people could really see themselves in and would feel when they closed the book, that could have been me. Yeah. That could have been my life. That could have been my sister. That could have been my parents. And I just feel like that to me was like a biggest reward.
Yeah.
I totally saw myself in that book. Then I loved that.
Yeah, especially when you can see yourself in the different characters. Like I love that I could see it from Jess's perspective, having been a daughter, So I love that. But I also saw, well, first of all, the cover. Let's talk about this cover. Look at this cover. I want everybody to see this. I mean, as soon as I saw this cover. Somebody had read it and put this. It was probably Instagram because I'm on there the most. And I saw the cover and right away I was like, because I'm such a cover. I'm like, ooh, what's that about? Ooh, I want to read that. So, did you have any say in this cover? Did you pick the cover?
Yes, I actually did select that. It was a joint effort. This is one of my my indie titles.
Right.
So I had a little bit more input.
More.
And I also have an incredibly talented husband who, like you have great family members who help you out with projects. My husband helped me to work on that original design. So once we located the image, then it was just, that was it. I saw it and I thought, my heart stopped. This is it.
And I love that about books. I mean, I just love when I see a cover and right away, I don't even know what it's about. It's like, I saw that cover and I'm like, I don't care. I want to know what it's about.
Oh,
and that's why they're so important,
It definitely does that to me. And what's really funny is I tend to have a pattern with kind of covers that I love. And we can walk into a bookstore and my husband will say to me, he knows exactly the ones I'm going to go look at.
This is her one book. And here, look at, I mean, tell me there's not a pattern here.
Yeah, it was pretty deliberate.
I know, but the thing is when I was looking at this, I thought, it says so much. Who even thought about that? Like, the shoes say so much about what the book is about. It's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. And I love when authors do stick with the same, with the same font, with the same, you look at these books and it's like, the muted colors, and it's your book. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. I think people are more sort of inclined nowadays to be wanting to create a brand for themselves. Yes. And that can be tough, but I think when you find something that feels comfortable and you're just consistent with it, you can create something that becomes recognizable. And that was something else I wanted to do.
Yeah. I thought that was so cool. And I will be giving those away, everybody who's watching this. We will be giving away Alison's book. So I had to ask you about this. I saw you were a professional ballet dancer in your former life. And that was over, you were living in England at that time, or Scotland?
Yes, I was born in Scotland and I was brought up there and also in southern England for the early part of my life. And yes, I went to a professional theatre and ballet performing arts school. And I trained there for many years and I did work professionally for a few years. Then I had an injury, which meant that I had to rethink, press the reset button. And so I just went on a complete tangent and I went into marketing. So at that point I left the UK and I was working overseas for many years. I've really been a nomad actually for, almost over 2 decades.
Wow.
And settled in the States about 14 years ago.
Well, you know what? Your marketing background has to have helped too with the branding. I mean, my daughter is in marketing and she's constantly telling me what I'm doing wrong marketing. So marketing, it helps in every area, so at least, because a lot of people, you don't have to go out and hire somebody to tell you what you already know the market. So that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been very helpful. I think the thing with marketing, though, is it's constantly evolving and you have to constantly be moving to keep up with the trends and the platforms and so it's always a learning experience. It's a great background to have, but as I say, I'm learning all the time. And I still feel like a dinosaur. I'm with social and things, I'm just thinking, gosh, I don't know enough about it, but it's definitely a good grounding.
That is so true, because she is actually studying social marketing, which you wouldn't even think that that's a thing, but it is a thing.
It's a huge part of your day now, and it's very much a thing.
Yeah, and it's constantly changing, and they'll say do this, do that, and as soon as you learn one thing, there's another thing, and that's why I can't. I feel the same way. I feel like I can't keep up. So. It's like, I don't even want, sometimes I don't even want to, it's so overwhelming. I'm like, oh, let me just go read a book. I'll just go read a book. That I can do,
It gets challenging because it does start to eat up a lot of time, and while it's absolutely necessary in many respects, there's other days when you think, oh, I just want to shut everything down and go and pick up a cup of coffee and read.
Yes, and it's an escape, and I love that escape of going right into books, and
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
yeah, and this book just came out in January, and I saw like the reviews you're getting on it are just amazing. I mean, everybody is loving this book, so that must make you so happy. I mean, 2 months
Yeah.
out to get as many reviews and people saying, "Go read this book," that must be thrilling for you.
It is wonderful. Reviews are a crazy animal. They're terrifying and they're fabulous at the same time.
Right.
But yeah, so far I've been really, really happy with the way it's been received, and yeah, very positive.
Yeah, I would imagine I'm not an author, but if I was like that Amazon button, I'd be like, do I want to look today? I'm kind of in a good mood. I'm not sure I want to look.
I know, and we all become obsessed with those stars. It's like there's a review up, but I'm scared to look.
I know, it's crazy. So, are you writing another one right now?
Yes, I am. I actually have completed my fifth and my sixth books.
Wow.
So my fifth one is currently with my editor, and then sixth will soon follow. And I have an outline for my seventh, which I've started working on already. So I'm, yeah.
Yeah, because your books, I did see, they come out quick. Okay, you write fast. These come out, and because are these all indie? Are these all, or no? Or some of these with, I didn't even look. Are these all, you're doing this on your own?
Those three are, yes. My other one, Finding Heather, was my traditionally published one, which is with Lake Union Publishing.
Oh, with Lake Union. Okay, great. And because you do, that is the beauty of it, because you can just keep writing, and you can just keep releasing them,
Yeah, and the next two, I'm hoping will go through traditional channel.
Right.
It's going to be exciting. But what I love is actually the ability to do both and be that hybrid.
Yes.
To have the guidance of the industry professionals and the people out there that know so much more about it than I do, but also to have the flexibility to do the things, my own projects, and to essentially almost interject them, because the traditional timing is a lot longer lead times to getting the book out.
Right.
So it's a really great combination to be able to do both.
And I see authors doing that all the time now.
Yeah. I think it's becoming. Well, I think it's becoming a pretty popular format, and I think people are also enjoying that sort of level of flexibility to do some on their own.
Right, and if a publisher says no, you can be like, yes. You can say, well, then I'll just put it out, and that is the beauty of today, is like, okay, well, if they don't think it's right for them, I'll just put it out. And you know what? Another thing happens is people buy them then. So many times that happens. You put them out there, and then they get bought, and then they get and then it's even bigger scale. So I think that's awesome. I love that. I love that they come after you, like at some point,
That's actually what happened with Finding Heather.
Yeah. Isn't that
I originally put it out, and then it was picked up by the publisher. So
yeah, that is the way to go, right there. Have them ask you.
Yeah, awesome. What a wonderful experience.
Yes, well, let me show everybody this one more time, and I will have all of Alison's links underneath here so that you can find this book and find her. Are you on Facebook and any of the others, Twitter and
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Goodreads. I forget all of them.
All of them, exactly.
Except for Pinterest. I need to think about that, but I'm not on there right now.
You know what? And I don't do Twitter. My daughter does my Twitter, and I go on there every once in a while just to look at it, and it confuses me too much. It really does. That one I have not even figured out yet. But Facebook and Instagram are like easy to me. LinkedIn, you should do LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think I need to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I always tell authors this. It is like this hidden jewel, because I have a group of readers over there that watch hundreds of my video. Like, they love authors. They really do. So
good tip. Thank you.
Well, I didn't know either. People kept telling me, join LinkedIn. And I was like, I'm not looking for a job. I don't really need, But then I started doing it. And when my daughter took over, she started, and lots of feedback. I was like, wow, they really love authors over there. So
that's interesting, because you do tend to think of it as being much more kind of business oriented, and it's not somewhere that you would go for that kind of audience. So
yeah, I think. Right, because I'm not writing an article. I always look at it as people who write articles or looking for a job, but they love authors. So yeah, that's my tip for today. Well, thank you so much, Alison. And, let me know when those other books come out. I will be happy to read them, because I love your writing, and I'm not the only one. There are so many people out there. So, let me know. We can talk again. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
I will. Thanks so much.
Have a great day.
Bye now.
Bye. Everyone, wasn't she adorable? Oh my gosh, I am so happy that I found her. I'm so happy that everybody introduced me to her. Look at that. Ah, it was so good. I can't even tell you. I'm going to have all her links, like I said in the video. I'll have all her links listed below. And if you love really good, like mother-daughter relationship books like I do, because it's always interesting to read from being a mother and a daughter. I can like see the good and bad in both parts. And that's what this book did. I like relived a lot of my relationship with my mom and then a lot of the conversations that I have with my daughter. So everyone go get this book. The links will be listed below. And like I said, I will be giving away all of Allison's books this week. Here they are. Thank you, Allison. If you enjoyed watching us, please hit like. If you want to get updates on all my videos, please hit subscribe. Until tomorrow.